on, everybody that joined in. I see a few people that have joined the podcast. Welcome to the first Kevin Brock Real Talk with Kevin Brock. Thanks for joining. If you guys
I want to
aren't
watch the
here,
basketball game. You can mute it.
yeah, I want to mute everybody right now. Here we go, muted. Perfect. Kevin, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm glad we're here. This is great doing this. This is going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be enable us to get all the information out weekly to where wherever you're fishing at, and if you got a certain question or something, you can get some information. So this is for the public, this is for the town, this is for the area, and we're just going to just talk fishing.
Talk fishing. Great. Kevin, thanks for letting me do this. You know, I'm Stony Stone from Old Fart Fishing, and Kevin and I have been working together a lot behind the scenes on quite a few things that are now starting to come together and coming out, and people are seeing what we're working on. And along that, Kevin, you're out in Chico right now. Tell me about what's going on in Chico?
Yeah, no, and it's great to be with you, Stony, and we appreciate you and with all the old farts fishing stuff that's going on. We've been doing some videos with you on some different places and different things the last couple of years, and got a lot of people liking that stuff. So that's cool. So you can go to Old Farts Fishing and check out all kinds of videos that we do there. But yeah, in Chico, what we've done, we put a bunch of our product in the old tackle box. I've been called a fishy guy, but I'm a techie guy now. But anyway, so I mean, long story short, I went and I talked to Grandpa, and it was Phil Peeps over there, and he says, Kevin, put a bunch of your stuff in here and help us get this thing going again, and this is going to be good for the town. It's going to be good for everybody. And so we just went in there and we're just helping them get it going. And we got some of our product in there, and we've been giving people information, and we just want to spread what's been given to us. I mean, really, the way over all the years, I've been successful, knock on wood, is because people have helped me. I mean, when I was starting out, I was 18 years old. I didn't have anything. I'm just out of high school, and people helped me. So now it's a way to give back. And we got people coming in saying, hey, I'm going up to this lake, or I'm going up to Paradise Lake, or I'm going down to Calusa, or I'm going down to Ord Bend, or I'm going over here to Deer Creek, whatever river. Well, these are my stomping grounds. I've been doing this forever. So I'm like, yeah, fish this, fish that. And I just give them some information and help them out. So that's what we're doing.
Sounds great. I've been in you had a couple I want to say reopenings. So we had something last Saturday, and then the weekend before was your grand reopening. And how'd that go? When I went in there was a lot of people. Uh,
Oh, I mean, the support was great. And people came out to support the tackle box, support the people's family. It's just a family community, and everybody came out for that. So it was really cool, super cool. And yeah, there were tons of people, had lots of support, and people were surprised by the amount of inventory that was in there, and that it was stocked, and that everything was up to date for what we're fishing for now. And you got what you need now. And we got stripers coming up, and we'll talk about that a lot. We'll talk about some lake fishing as the podcast goes on, but striper fishing. So we have got a whole wall worth of striper stuff. I mean, we got jigs for the guys that like to jig for them, all the cool colors, from 1 to 3 ounce. And I don't want to sound like a commercial now, but we're just letting you know what we
yeah.
got there, and we've got all the swim baits from 4 to 6 inch. And then we've got all the trolling worms and the trolling tails. And then we got all the trolling deep divers that we use, right here on the river. So everything just we just use right here. So that's what I had them put in.
And it was great when I went, when I went there for the reopening, there was just a lot of, I mean, it was ceiling to floor, lots of inventory, lots of stuff from everything from kokanee stuff to trout stuff to even had a whole wall of salmon stuff. Even though we don't have salmon fishing, but you're ready for it. As soon as they say let's, even if they open it up for a week, you're like, come in,
Hey,
I
if
got
they open up for
everything.
a week, man, we've got all the plugs and the wrap and the sardines and the sinkers just because I had all that stuff. So we put it in anyway. And yeah, it's different. But there's lots of information there, We're open for the hours. We got bait, that's cool, and having live bait and having minnows right there. That's awesome. I'm excited about that because I can grab them and go fishing.
Absolutely. David, I see you're on, buddy. What's up, David? David Mayo's on. I see more and more people are starting to trickle in. And
What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Hey,
absolutely.
Dave, how are you? Good to see you, buddy.
You
Hey,
too, Kevin.
did you make
Can
it
you hear
into
me?
the, yeah, we can hear you. Did you make
Okay.
it into the tackle shop at all or the tackle spot
No,
all the
it's
way?
up in no up in Chico. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in Roseville.
Oh, you're right by me. So
Yeah,
I
I'm
made
in
I made the trip. Come on, I made the trip a couple times.
Yeah,
Well, hey, when
I've
you
been
come up and go
fishing.
fishing, we'll get
Yeah.
you something to take care
Oh
of
no,
you. But
I'm definitely gonna do probably a Feather River run with you or something up there.
yep.
Very, very good. Well, speaking of that, that's a good segue. Look, I didn't even pay this guy to do this. Is Feather River stripers. Tell us about striper season. It's kicking off. I'm seeing more and more videos and more photos. It feels like the stripers are kind of up. So Kevin, what do you think? What's going
Well,
on with
let's do
stripers?
let's do that. Let's do a little striper tip A to Z, kind of where people are at. Anybody that's on or anybody wants to throw in any comments, we'll answer as we go along so you can get a specific answer for where you're fishing. But yeah, it's starting on the Feather River, and Boyd's pump up, even where the Yuba comes into the Feather, there's fish showing up. Find some clear water, the edges. Guys are fishing minnows in the boats. Excuse me, guys are trolling. Now, a lot of guys are drifting down in the afternoons and evenings and starting to throw swim baits and A rigs. They're picking them up now too. So, but
Awesome.
if I was headed personally, I'd go down to Boyd's Pump probably. Man, I might go to Knight's Landing because
I
Knight's
love
the
Night
guys are
Swimming.
still killing them.
I know
Yeah,
you do.
they're still killing them in the Delta. And this week's rain is going to bring all those fish. They're all coming. So I'd say Knight's Landing. I'd jump in there, and then I'd find 8 to 10 foot of water on a couple bends there, and where you can use. And here's a key thing: use like an ounce and a half to 3 ounces of weight. This is if you're in a boat. If you're in a boat, if you got to fish more than 3 ounces of weight, you're probably too far out in the current. Probably too far out in the heat. More debris is going by, and when the water's high, those stripers like to come on the edge. So when you position your boat, don't be afraid to be in that 6, 8 foot of water, but make sure you're not, obviously fishing in willows and stuff, but make sure you're fishing on some sort of gravel bar, sand bar where the water's clean. And what I mean by clean is the water's not pushing over sand. If it's pushing over sand, those fish aren't going to want to sit there and breathe because they don't want to breathe in the sand. So
Yeah.
that's why we find them on the rocks. That's why we find them on the edges because it gets them out of that sand and they'll find your bait a lot easier. Now, speaking of bait, if you're using, 2 ounces or whatever, and this is from a boat, we'll talk about bank fishing here in a little bit, but from a boat, if you're fishing 2 ounces, your key baits are sardines, anchovies, and a little tip is a lot of the guys are using an anchovy, cutting it in half, and then threading a night crawler on it. And they're getting the wiggle out of the night crawler, and it's like the anchovy cocktail thing that's going on. It's guys are buying anchovies and night crawlers like crazy. So that's been really a neat thing, and we've been using it for a long time. But it's kind of the word's kind of getting out. But sardines, um, and then the fish aren't leader shy. And what I mean by that is you can use 15, you can use 20-pound leader and be just fine. Use a 3/0, 4/0 hook, a big hook, big enough, where the hook's just barely coming out the outside of the bait. And you can get some wrapping string, and I'm doing it in the air here. It looks different on the on the computer because I'm opposite. Here, I'll do it with my left hand. There we go. So
Right.
anyway, fillet your baits out. And Sony, I think we'll do something like that. We'll do a little how-to thing this week on
Absolutely.
how to fillet and wrap up these baits. So what we're
I'd like
talking
to see
about.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll
I know
do
I
that.
do it. I know
I
I do
think
it wrong
everybody
all
will
the
like
time.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so one thing that like when we're it's funny when I go fishing with my buddy Anthony is he'll throw like an anchovy and I'll throw a sardine, right? And it's funny because you think it's it's either or, right? And what I found is that one of the other is going to hit. They're, for whatever reason that day they like the anchovy better or they like the sardine better, so we'll throw both. And the one thing that we do, we haven't used the nightcrawler trick, but we'll take that thing, we'll split it down the middle, flip it inside out, and then wrap it on there.
Yeah.
And it's just putting that outside, the guts on the outside seems to attract the fish. And that worked great for us. And the other bait that we've used is, believe it or not, is chicken liver. And the reason we'll use chicken liver is we're actually looking for the pike minnow, to actually catch and throw that on a hook. And we did that last year a few times at Knight's Landing, where we went and did the pike minnow. Let's go catch a pike minnow, catch him, put him on a hook, throw him back out. And for years, it's never worked for me. But this last year, I got the biggest striper in my life, back to back weekends at Knight's Landing,
Nice.
getting a pike minnow. But what's interesting is on that chicken liver is we actually caught a lot of striper, off of it as well.
Don't discount chicken livers.
Yes.
It's crazy, but we always have chicken livers on the boat. We'll hook an extra one on. Stripers love chicken liver. They
Yes.
really do. So if you can't find, sardines or whatever, but you're right. Let's go back to what you talked about. You're filleting the fish or you cut your sardine. We're talking about bait now. Meat side out is always a great way to do it. So I fillet mine and then I kind of just fold it and then wrap it around to where the hook's just barely sticking out, where you get a good bite in them when you set the hook into them, and just a nice piece of fresh meat. And then reel it in every 5 minutes and you can add a little bit to it, and then cut it off and redo it again. And so you're wrapping baits the whole time while you're fishing. And that fresh bait really helps. It really helps. And meat side out always helps. Now here's another tip. Knight's Landing up, Calusa, not quite to Butte City yet. They love sardines.
Yes.
Love sardines. They eat them up. All fish and anchovy right next to a sardine. Sardine 10-1. I'm a big old school of fish. I mean, we catch 50 fish a day, and I'll catch 2 or 3 on an anchovy. So I don't even use them in that area. But you get above the Butte City Bridge, from Butte City all the way up to Gianella, and anchovies will outfish the sardines. Now, what's with that? I don't know.
I don't know.
Someone maybe else can tell me. Maybe it's clearer water. Someone else maybe has it more dialed than I do. All I know is that is fact. So if you're going to fish from like Butte City up, make sure you got anchovies and some worms, and don't forget a little chicken liver if you got extra. If you're going to fish from Butte City down, make sure you got sardines. And there's one for the day.
Yeah. And I can't agree more, because that's exactly what we do. We'll fish them both at the same time and see what hits, and then switch it up, and we'll catch fish. The other thing that I like really is I want to talk a little bit about your deep divers, is for stripers, because I use a lot of different brands of deep divers, and I love to say this name, and it'll make everybody mad, but I like to call them the noseries.
Yeah.
Use the
It won't
noseries.
make anybody mad. It's okay. It's
But
all
I-
good.
But I love your lures out of the box. They work, and we were actually 2 weekends, or even last weekend, I think 2 weekends ago, that we were at Lake Mendocino, actually trying to learn that lake for some catfishing, and I hear there's some big striper at Lake Mendocino. It's not very publicized, but they say, and I've seen some videos, that there's striper there. So we ran your lures out there to see what would happen, and I didn't get a striper that day, but I got a really nice bass off that deep diver, and but they work. So I'm chomping at the bit. We're gonna be
they
using
do.
those.
They do work. They do
No.
work, Tony.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
and
absolutely do.
all the stuff that I have, that I make or I brand, whatever, produce, we take the top colors. So I don't have 24 colors of the deep diver for striper lure. I got 6. You got 3 for clear water, 3 for muddy water. And because when I was guiding, and I still am guiding, but when I'm guiding, I don't want to keep trying all these different lures. I don't have time to experiment with clients. I've got to know what works. So when in Clearwater, rule of thumb, here's another tip. I mean, I love doing this. So rule of thumb in Clearwater, a rainbow trout color looking one, a redhead, so a white body redhead, okay, and then any type of, those are my two favorite, but any type of a blue color. That's what you need. Bingo,
Yeah.
done. So what about in the high murky water like we're going to experience these next couple weeks, this next week? Chartreuse, always your number one muddy water color.
Amen.
And then you go to Fire Tiger,
Yeah.
and then anything. And then what was really good the last couple of years, and I did one, and it's really caught on, is that hot pink. It's an opaque pink. It's not, it's not a translucent pink, but it's just a solid color of pink on the back. That was our number one on the river last year in the Clusa area. So I've got that one. So there you go. Muddy water, pink, chartreuse, and Fire Tiger, oranges, greens, all that. And then we flip to that, red and whites, rainbow trouts, and anything in the blue, and you're good. And you don't need 25 colors, but
And
you
what
do need
about
some of those. That's
then
for
what
sure.
about the trick tail, or the tail trailer, whatever people call them? Heard different things.
Oh,
What
for
color is
years,
that?
for years we've used the Zoom trick worm, and that's what we put on. And we've all tried different worms and stuff, but the ones now I'm making some.
Yep,
I'm
you're
making some
making
for
it.
it, and the reason I'm making them is because like we couldn't get them. We'd go in the store, and the white Zoom would be all gone. You'd be like, oh man. So I started making them as a guide just so I had them. Well, I started dipping the tails. I started dipping them in chartreuse, dipping them in red. Well, what I found on the Feather River, the red color and the bright pink fish better than chartreuse. Why? I don't know, but it's just the way it was. Was the water a little different? Same thing with the anchovy and sardine, but they ate it better. And so I do, you don't need a bunch. On the Delta, on the Clearwater days, I did a white with a yellow tail, not chartreuse, but just like a banana yellow color, right? It worked great. So what I do with my tails is the only thing different is we infuse it with a little scent when I pour it. And I mix myself personally the plastola so it's not too hard, it's not too soft, but it gets the right wiggle and it holds that scent. That's the key. So now I got a hard bait with some scent on there.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win. It's a win-win, and you get the colors you want. And like I said, I've got what? I got pearl, I got white, obviously, common one. Got a yellow tail, chartreuse tail, a red tail, and then and now I have a pearl with a chartreuse tail. Bingo. There you go. You've got everything covered, and you don't need to have 20, and you don't need to guess, around. So that's what you need. And when all else fails, just put a white one on and go for it.
Just put
But
something on.
it does make a difference. A
Absolutely.
trolling tail makes a difference on those. Yeah.
And this weekend, Saturday, I'm actually going out with Rob Stoddard. People that know me as Old Farts Fishing is I do go with a lot of different guides throughout the year. One reason why I go with a lot of guides is here's my methodology for people that are listening is like, Tony, why do you go with a guide? You have a boat, you go fishing, you have a guide license, you do a few things. Why do you go with guides? For me, it's about the camaraderie. I build relationships and I learn something every single time. And biggest thing is it's going to cost me anywhere, depending on the guide, from 225 to 275, somewhere in there. But normally guides are like at 250 is the kind of magic number. Is I'm going to spend that anyway. If I go out on my boat, by the time I fill my truck up, fill my gas up, and I go buy the bait, and I go to wherever I'm going, I'm into it for almost 200, 250 bucks. So why not go with a guide, support the local economy, learn something along the way, and have a blast? And that's why I go. And so this weekend, I'm going with Rob Stoddard, and I'm going to be trying out your stuff. And normally I don't bring any gear. The guide has everything. But I told Rob, I said, you know what? I'm bringing Kevin's rods and Kevin's lure.
Yeah, no,
I'm
that's
used
awesome.
to
And Rob contacted me a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and said, "Hey man, I need some of those lures. I hear they're working." And so I sent him a bunch. And so I know a bunch of fish he's been catching with clients the last couple of weeks have been on those lures. So that's cool. And no, he's a good guy, great guide, nice to be around. He's professional. So yeah, hats off to him. So he's doing it the right way. So, but you go back to you hiring a guide and it's worth your time. So for years, as our family was growing up, like I'd want to get away and we'd go up to like Trinidad and we'd like to go out and catch the rockfish and the crab and we just come back and have a family crab boil and fish fry, just goodness. So we go up there and my dad and my uncle, they're like, well, why don't you bring your boat up here? And da da da. And you know how to fish and you know where to go and you could set us all up. I'm like, just like what you said. I'm like, listen, I charter the boat. We go out in the morning, we get all the fish, we come back, we get to spend time with family. If I were to bring my own boat, fuel, time, storage, all that. And then guess what? Even though we're fun fishing, I still got to be the guide. I still got to do it. And which is fine. I don't care. But when I go out with someone else, man, I kick back. I listen to instructions. They're like, drop it down 10 feet. I drop it down 10 feet. They're like, do this. Oh, yeah, bro. Oh, I got another one. Hey, can I help you fillet the fish? They're like, no, we got it. I'm like, okay, you got it. And we go back and eat them. It's great. So hiring a guide, and I'm not saying this because I'm a guide, but it is some of the most relaxing, enjoyable days that you'll have on the water. And let's be honest, time is short.
Oh yeah.
Time is short. We spend so much time making money, less time going fishing.
So I remember last year, I got you out on my boat. We were going to go, you and I and Anthony were going to go out to the Delta and do some striper fishing. And at that time, you were having some little mechanical issues you were working on. So I'm like, dude, let's just go on my boat, right? So
Right, right, right.
for me, it was so exciting. I'm telling Anthony, I'm like, dude, I got Kevin Brock. He's coming on my boat. I was all excited. I got a guide that's coming on my boat. And it was just like you said, right? It was like I've been with you on a guide trip and I've had you on my boat. And it was kind of cool to see you not in guiding, where you were
Yeah.
just having a good time. You were just like, hey, how far back to? I mean, I'm like, I felt like I was guiding you, and I'm thinking, how am I guiding this guy? I don't know anything compared to this guy. But man,
Oh,
it
well,
was
yeah,
such
but
an amazing
it's
day.
it's awesome. And again, what you said is the key point of that, the whole thing is we all learn.
Oh
I've
yeah,
got hundreds, thousands of hours on the water in different places. And you know what? I'm still open to learn. We still learn all the time. So, and it makes it fun. I mean, I like to fish. You like to fish. Everybody likes to fish. I mean, we all like to catch fish. That's just what it is. So
yeah.
it's kind of a passion. It's not only a passion, it's a lifestyle. It's just
So,
a total lifestyle.
so what do you got? What do you have going on with Stripers? You starting to book some trips now, or what's
Yeah,
going
yeah. In
on?
fact, I appreciate you asking that, but April's almost completely full.
Okay,
I'm looking over the calendar right now. I think I got one day left in April that's open. But with the rain and the high water, it'll go into May.
yeah,
It'll go into May this year. And we'll keep doing this every week. We'll let
yes,
people know where we're at, what we're doing, how was it? How was the bite this week? What changes? Because last week we could be on sardines and then, I fish all the weekend long. But before you hit the next weekend, you're like, oh, Kevin said sardines last week. But it may be the minnows now. It may be, all minnows are all just casting swim baits.
right.
So, but
And this
that's
and this
why
is
this will be really cool for everybody.
Yeah. So the plan with this, since this is our first podcast, together with me hosting, you, Kevin, the whole intent of this is we do these live feeds. We get a few people, which we got a lot of people online. So thank you guys for calling in. And then what I'm going to do with this is tomorrow, I'm going to take this and I'm going to touch it up, edit it, add a few things, and then repost it back onto Facebook, put it onto YouTube, kind of get the message out that we're doing this on a weekly basis. There's more content to come, so we're not done yet. I'm just kind of giving people kind of where we are. But that's the whole point of this is to get some information out, get to know Kevin a little bit, and talking about what's going on at the tackle box out there in Chico, and talk about some of his products. And the most the biggest thing is getting to know Kevin and the tips and the tricks and sharing information so everybody can go out there and catch some big fish. And So when do you want to do this fishing report? You want to wait a little bit longer? You want to kind of dive in? I got a couple
No,
of the
let's
things.
dive in because I think
Yeah,
some of the people might be, we've kind of,
they're
since
waiting.
it was our first day on an intro and we've kind of floated all over here. But if we're going to be more structured, we need to do a fishing report. I'm going to have it on my website every Thursday. The tackle box will have it, and anybody else is free to use the information too. It's just to help everybody.
And there's a
That's what it's
QR code,
for.
right? There'll be a little
Yeah,
QR code. So when you guys
yeah,
see this video post production, you'll see the QR code on there. You scan that with your phone. It'll take you right to the weekly report right on Kevin's
yep,
website.
yep, yeah. And like I said, it's just to help everybody out. We're just trying to give back. People are saying, "Oh, don't tell them where you were at. Don't tell them what you were using." Why not? There's plenty of fish. It'll all be fine. We all work together. It's all okay. You know, I'm gonna fish 50 days in a row for striper season, no matter what. So why not help people out? So it's just kind of where we're at. And you can get not only my stuff, you can get it at the tackle box in Chico, because they've got just about everything now, but lots of other stores. I mean, Kittle's, Sportsman's Warehouse, Johnson's, um, let's see, Fins and Feather up in Paradise. They got our stuff. Um, Major Outdoors and Willows. They've got our stuff. Ace Hardware. And I mean, there's just all different places that have our stuff.
What's the
Or
place
Reynolds,
in
Reynolds at
Rancho?
Red Bluff. They've got our stuff there. So support the local guys. If you're there, go in and grab it from them.
What's at Rancho? There's a store, shop in Rancho Cordova too. You have right? That,
Oh yeah, guns fishing and other stuff.
yeah,
Yep.
there.
They've got a
So
bunch of our swim baits and stuff in there. So yeah, good. There. So lots of people have it, and then we'll talk about that. But yeah, let's jump into the fishing reports for the local area of what I've got. And
perfect.
so let's start off with Paradise Lake, um, up above Paradise. Everyone heard about where the burn was, and wiped it out. But they're planting all kinds of fish up there. So if you're close or you're in that area, two things you need: power bait, and you need some blue and silver Castmasters. There you go. The Rainbow Trout Castmaster works good too, but my favorite is blue and silver. Now, if it's cloud cover, it's really cloudy, early in the morning, golden red. Gold is a good one. So if I were going to Paradise Lake, excuse me, it's been a long day.
I bet.
I was up at 3:30 and we're powering through this. I got about that much voice left. Downhill I go. But so power bait, rainbow color, garlic, whatever you like, it all actually works. Power bait's about the scent more than the color sometimes. So power bait, rainbow color, fishing off the bottom. You have your 2 rod stamp because I don't like just sitting out there with one rod. I throw a power bait rod out, 1/2 ounce, a little bit of power bait on there, and then I just cast a 1/4 ounce Castmaster. I use a 6 pound fluorocarbon line and with a stouter rod, and you can balm it. I mean, you can put some distance on it. Cast it way out and just reel it in steady. You don't need to twitch it. You don't need to jig it. Just reel it in steady. Let the lure do its thing, and it'll just kind of wobble back and forth. And you'll hook a trout on that every 10 or 12 casts. And that'll give you something to do. And they planted some big ones out there. So that's Paradise Lake. And so we'll drop down from the foothills, and Lake Almanor. I mean, I guess we can talk about that. It's go there. Why not? My buddy Big Daddy up there, Brian Rakucci, he's a guide up there. And they've been trolling the big, long Rapalas, like the number 7s and 9s, the floating Rapalas with an orange belly on it. And they he showed me pictures 4 days ago. They had like 28 browns, and the biggest was like 7 pounds, trolling like 3 miles an hour, speed trolling Rapalas right on top. Just boom, fish just getting aggressive and grabbing it. So that's Almanor. And then if we're going to talk lakes, that's Brian Rakucci up there. So look him up if you want to go guide up there, or go take your boat up and do it yourself. Then you got Shasta. Shasta's been really good. The guy who's got that dialed in is Jeff Goodwin. Goodwin's just, I mean, he's absolutely putting on a clinic out there on big fish. So if you want to learn how to fish that lake, head out there. He's got side planers out, he's got downriggers out. I don't know all the baits he's using. I'm not going over there, but all I know is they're catching nice fish. And I'm not talking like 14 inchers. I'm talking like five, sixes, threes, multiple salmons and browns all together. So if you like lakes, head there. I was talking to Cal Kellogg yesterday. Collins Lake, you know, it's a play to play, but they stock the heck out of that thing. Same thing if you're fishing off the bank, Castmasters and power bait, and they're catching lots of fish. Now, if you go trolling, you can look up Cal Kellogg's website, and it's on Catch America now too. You can type in Catch America, and you can buy all of Cal's stuff. His trolling stuff and his trolling worms, and he's got some trick worms. And I don't troll Collins. I fished it when I was a kid. But all I know is if you're fishing the lake, check his stuff out too, because he's got a lot of information out there. But Collins has been on fire. So the guys that have been coming in the store in Chico, crappie fishing, they have been killing the crappie out there at Black Butte. Some guys a little bit at Orville and taking some out there, getting them in the trees. But Black Butte has been on fire for crappie, and so is Clear Lake. And so this is the time everyone's telling me we used to go out and just take the boat and float around and drop minnows down by the trees, and catch a handful of crappie and bring them home and eat them, fry them up, good to go. But there's a lot of guys that are going on the bank. Standard slip bobber, a number 8 hook, split shot, about 15 feet down, throw the bobber out. When the bobber goes down, boom, crappie on. And they're
Nice.
catching a lot of crappie right now. It's some nice ones. And so Black Butte's been number 1. Clear Lake, I'd say, is number 2. And they're getting fish in other places. There's some lakes and stuff I don't even know about that are fishing great right now. But I'm just giving kind of the general area right around here. Now, if you're on a boat and you want to fish for bass in Black Butte, slow roll a crankbait or use a twin tail mop. Twin tail mop. So twin tail mop jigs on a 1/4 ounce head in the clear, salt and pepper, or on the it's a cinnamon with purple flake. Those are the two best for out there. And oh, I forgot to show you Shasta. So we're just kind of bouncing around here because
Oh yeah.
it's just fun to do like that. So
Yeah.
Shasta is also for bass, the guys that are throwing small crankbaits and then throwing those twin tail mops. And I got them in the store. You can go on our website, buy them. 1/4 ounce head, cinnamon with purple flake, hands down number 1. Hands down. So that's a good one for there. So we talked about Collins. Well, let's jump over to the river because everyone's getting ready to go to the river.
Oh
The
yeah.
Feather River is producing fish right now from Verona, from the mouth of the Feather, all the way up. Boyd's Pump, you can float. And then where the Yuba comes in, above Boyd's, above Shanghai Bend, the guys are going into the Yuba a little bit. Now watch the hook regulations because it's barbless hooks only up there. But they're fishing minnows, Clayton House. Water's a little clearer. They're doing great. So if you got a boat, you can head up there. Aaron Zanoko, he's up there. Some of the other guides are fishing around. I saw a post from Wraith the other day. He's throwing swim baits down there, catching fish. Stripers are starting to show up. And after this week, after this next rain, it's good, blowing wide open. Feather and sack, here we go. You know, now is the time to go striper fishing. So let's bounce over to the sack. If we're fishing the sack, I'm going to go Knight's Landing. I'm going to fish bait. I'm going to fish sardines, stuff. Then we're going to move our way up into Calusa area. Go through Grimes, come up to the Calusa, go past Tisdale. I would go up into Calusa area and sardines, pile worms, and the sardine night crawler combination, hands down right now, is going to be your best. You'll catch a few on swim baits. You'll catch a few trolling, but the water's still murky and it's going to stay murky. So stick with bait. Stick with bait until the next report, and you'll catch more fish. You won't waste your time with everything else. Um, and then as you work your way up into Princeton, up to Ord Bend, up to Gianella Bridge, anchovies, night crawlers, chicken livers, and then as the water starts to clear up there, it'll clear there first. Minnows. And remember, you can't use minnows live bait above Gianella Bridge. That's Highway 32 right there. So from 32 down, you can fish minnows. So, but it's just going to be a great year, a great year. We posted some pictures of some fish eating some pileworms that were just choking them down the last couple days, and sardines, and that was right out of Calusa, right out of Calusa. So, what else we got? We got all kinds of other places to go. Um, the Delta. Those guys are cleaning house in the Delta, and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
going to be there with Rob next week. So that's pretty good. Joey Gomez over there, Golden State, they're cleaning house. Ken Wise, all the guys over there, or Keith Wise over there. Um, those guys are killing it. I mean, absolutely killing it right now. Trolling deep diving, Zuri's smoking them. So if you can get down there, the San Joaquin side, even up in the False River, all that, it's all good right now. It's all like super good. So, though, and those fish will be moving up. So there's really, unless it's just dumping rain, there's really no reason not to go fishing. The trout in the lakes is top notch right now, and the fish are, the water's cold. Striper fishing is kicking on, and in the delta's wide open, and in the rivers it's ready to bust open. So there's really, and the lakes for crappie and bass after this cold front, the bass on Orville and Shasta and Folsom, and I mean, any body of water you can get to, fishing is going to be wide open, wide open. Spinner baits, crank baits, plastics, twin tail mops, all that stuff. This is everyone's chatter baits. This is everyone's favorite time. You catch lots of fish and big fish. Man, now I need to just go fishing. I'm done talking about fishing. Let's go fishing.
Let's go. You and I are going out, I believe, next week, right? We're
I think
going
we're
out
going to end
sometime.
up on the third
The
out there.
third.
Yeah,
Yep.
on the
Yep.
third. We'll see what the storm brings. Yeah.
Exactly. We'll see
Yeah,
what
we'll see
happens.
what the storm brings. I'll bring an umbrella for you.
Hey, we got all the rain gear. I have a
Hold up
little
an
bit of
umbrella.
a a
Guys,
little.
guys, are full guy service. I'll hold an umbrella for you. There you go.
Uh,
There you go.
and you talked a lot about the fishing that you do. A lot of people that follow me and follow Old Fart Fishing is we're really into the catfish scene, right? We're really into the
I
big
didn't even
catfish.
mention catfish. Sorry. Go
No,
ahead. You
no,
take
that's
the
all right.
catfish over. I,
But
I
the
I'm not a whisker fisherman. I
No,
don't know.
and I
Yeah.
am, and Clear
Yeah.
Lake is the go-to place for catfish, big catfish. January, very first day of January, we caught a 25 pounder, very first day of the year, which was amazing. They just tell me that this year is going to be up the hook for big catfish, and that's where we spend a lot of time. 18 pounds and up on a regular, and we got a big tournament coming up here with if you guys follow us the Catfish Bash. It's the only catfish series in California. A lot of these guys will do these 2-day tournaments, and this guy, for the Catfish Bash, is doing a series of 6 tournaments, pretty much all at Clear Lake, except 2 times we're going to Mendocino, which we won't talk about that. That's been a disaster. We'll find out next weekend how we do, but Mendocino's
Right.
been a tough lake for catfishing. We're gonna have a lot of teams that get skunked, is what I predict. But yeah, the catfish scene is huge, and they're hitting anything, anchovies, um, down to people use salmon out there, mackerel, shrimp, you name it, anything. I used to think that catfish was stinky bait, and I'm learning that no, you want the nice, fresh chicken, chicken livers,
Fresh,
fresh.
fresh bait.
Yeah,
They like the fresh bait. Yeah.
yeah.
It
So
doesn't have to be a stink bait. We're
no,
not fishing over there and wherever, and grandma's pond, they like the fresh bait.
yeah. So Kevin, tell me Gold Beach. I know I just we booked a trip with you. I think Dave Mayo is in Warren. You're coming out with me and a couple of my buddies, and we're gonna go salmon fishing in August. What's going on with salmon? How do we get on your boat, and how many trips do you have still available? And tell us about Gold
Man,
Beach Trip.
I don't think I have anything left. I think I
Wow,
might
that's
have a day
amazing.
left or something. And we haven't, really promoted it because we're only fishing, 40 days or something up there.
Right.
And I mean, it's a destination that we went to because obviously we're not salmon fishing here in the valley. The stripers are done. It's 115 degrees. We're all like, what are we doing? Because we all love salmon, right? We all love salmon. Everybody loves salmon. And then, I mean, I'm talking the big kings. And so we go up to Gold Beach. I've been there years ago, and it's 65 degrees. And the ocean's pushing, and I can breathe clear. And I mean, I get there a couple years ago, and we're pulling out these 15 to 30 pound chromers. And yeah, you still got to fish for them. It's still fishing. It's not like you pull one in every cast, right? But when you get one, they're hot and they're big fish, and there's lots of people fishing, and the community's excited to see fishermen. I'm like, huh, wow, this is awesome. They love fishermen. Imagine that, because of what fishermen bring to the economic value of the community. And so we're eating dinner with everybody on the wharf. And then if the seas are calm, I go drop crab pots. We pull crab pots, we boil them that night. So we're all sitting there at camp at 60-degree weather, talking about the days of fishing that we had, of the 30 to we got some up to 40 pounds, but big, huge chrome fish, talking about that while we're eating fresh crab. I mean, it just doesn't. I'm not selling the trip because again, we're already almost all full. It's all good. I'm not trying to convince people to go, but it's just cool. It's just cool. I
It
mean, it's
was
just
cool.
nice.
We went
Yeah.
last year. We got a bunch of footage for you last year. So
Yeah, you showed up last year. That was so
yeah,
awesome. I'm out
yeah.
fishing and I don't even know Stoney's there. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
but I got the story. So we're fishing through and it's been a good bite. It's been a good bite. I think we've got 6 or 7, 8 fish so far. I mean, the day's like on fire. Boom, we hook this fish. We're fighting it out, and it's a big fish, 30 pounders plus. And all of a sudden, I see this little drone over my boat. Now, I don't know Stoney's over there. And I'm like, huh, well, that's kind of cool. So we're fighting it out, but I don't want to concentrate on the drone because I got to net this fish. Now I'm concentrating on getting this big fish in the net. But we get it in the net, and we pick it up. The drone comes by, and I hold it up, and everybody's happy. And I mean, it's just like the top. It was the icing on the cake for the day. And the group that I was fishing, 6 people, taking all kinds of fish home, and they're just great guys. And then husband and wives, by the way. And if you want to bring your wives along, it's all good, So they have a good time, and they'll catch more fish than you. That's just how it goes. But and then all of a sudden I get this text, and Stoney's like, "That's my drone." Well, Stoney got up there early, had a drone, and we didn't even plan that out. I mean, it was
Oh,
like the money shot of all money shots because here his drone is why I'm fighting a fish. It was too cool. I like that. That was
yeah.
fun.
I couldn't have planned it any better. I mean, like you said, that was the money shot. For us to stage that or make that, there's just impossible. And so what I was doing actually was just getting some beef footage, some stuff I could add in as kind of just some filler. And so I was flying over all the boats, getting the bridge, getting some cool shots. And all of a sudden, my buddy, Anthony's with me. So Kevin's on a fish. Kevin's on a fish. And it's not like I could just find Kevin's boat and just go to it. I had to find Kevin's boat within like 30 other boats, and with this drone in the air, I'm like, okay, which one is Kevin's boat? Look, and so I found it, and it's just like I couldn't have timed it better. We got all that on film. If you guys want to see it, you go to Old Parts Fishing on YouTube. Click on the playlist. It says Salmon Fishing. You'll see that video with Kevin, and we're gonna be getting some more of that footage this year when we go up in August with you. And like I said, I think I got David Mayo and Warren coming with me, my buddy Jeff, and of course my fishing partner Anthony. We're gonna go all up there and have a great time and get to know you. even more. Not that I don't know you, but spend more time with you, which is always a good deal. And we'll catch some more fish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always a positive thing. And that's what this guiding, this next year coming up, it'll be my 33rd year. 3 3 33 years of full-time guiding. Now I'm making some products now, but up until then, um, I had no other income. That was my only income was from guiding, and we survived that long, and it's still going. And I mean, we've gone through salmon crashes, we've gone through droughts, we've gone through floods. I went through some health stuff. God decides to give me a second chance at life, and we're still doing this together because of that. I mean, ultimately, that's what it's about. Is the man upstairs, says, "Hey, it's not your time to go yet."
Right.
And so, we just try to give back as much as possible. It changed things a little bit. It's not as much ego or push, push, push for, Kevin Brock. It's more about building relationships, hanging out with people, still doing what I do, still using the knowledge to give back. But just, if you have a great day and they all stay on, that's good. If you have a day where some of them come off, hey, that's okay too. It's all right. That's fishing and we're all going to have a good time. So it's a amazing place to be. And as you get to know me better and I get to know guys, and like I said, Dave Mayo's going, Warren's going. I don't even know Warren that well at all. But, he came up to the sports show and he was just kind. And you could tell he's just got a kind heart. And he was just like, hey, how you doing? Let's shoot a little video of your stuff. And he didn't ask for anything. He doesn't use anybody's stuff exclusively because we all know that one bait doesn't work great everywhere.
Right.
So whether you use my bait or somebody else's bait, I don't care. I just want you to catch fish. We're talking about sardines and pile worms to fish on I could be promoting a swim bait. Well, it's not swim bait time yet. We'll promote swim baits when it's swim bait time.
Right.
That's what we'll do. But it builds relationships. So clients turn into friends. Friends turn into like family. And it's a fishing family community. And I mean, I've had clients that have fished with me from the start. One, two groups, I have 4 generations that I fish, 4 generations in the same boat. And then probably 8 or 9 different groups, I have 3 generations. And then they're working on the fourth generation. And maybe I'll see it. I don't think maybe we'll make 5 generations. One group might make 5. Their son is 13, almost 14. So in 6 years, the fourth generation, they'd be 96. Impossible. I might get 5 generations on a boat. We'll go for it. We'll knock on wood,
I
up to God, but we'll not. Well, hey, if that happens, that'd be pretty cool. 5 generations on one boat. But point being is, fishermen, clients, fishing brings people together.
Yes,
There's
it does.
something, there's goodness about it, and we just like it, and that's what we're going to keep doing. I'm going to keep doing it till the end. So if you're in my boat, and I'm like 100, and I'm driving the boat, and then like you're sitting there, and I keel over, just push me over. Just push me over in the water. But I got to know what happened to Kevin. He just fell overboard. So
Uh, that
I'm gonna drive the boat until till the end, as long as I can drive it.
that's
Right.
So,
awesome.
that's we'll keep going. So it's a good thing. It's a really an amazing how people will say, "Hey, I fished with you 10 years ago, and now I want to take my son along." And yeah, we can tell story after story,
Oh
story
yeah,
after story,
and we're gonna
all the
have
years. But
lots of time to do stories because this is the very first podcast we're doing with me, Tony Stone, as the host. This is the first one. Hopefully, you guys continue to come back for every Thursday, 7 o'clock. We'll do this live just like we're doing now, and I will put something together to get it back out, an edited version, so people can watch this, on YouTube and other platforms. And we're going to continue to grow and learn with Kevin and go through this whole adventure of fishing that we all love. And we're almost at the top of the hour, Kevin. I'd like to open it up. There's quite a few people online. And here's something funny. I want to digress a little bit. A lot of you guys that follow me, I've got this podcast that I do on Monday night. It's called A Minute with Stony Stone. And it kind of started out with just a random, just thoughts and things, and slowly started to become fishing. And my business partner that I work with is a little bit out there, kind of kind of strange. And every time we get into his stuff, the podcast dies. Everybody leaves. Well, I made some progress, and we've now turned it into just fishing. So on Monday nights, I've got a Minute with Stony Stone podcast where we talk about fishing. And I don't have the knowledge that Kevin has. I know a lot about catfishing, but it's more about the tournament scene and my world of fishing, which is a little bit different than Kevin's. But a lot of these worlds are going to cross here pretty soon, I feel. But it's just, like Kevin hit it, Kevin nailed it on the head. It started out as a client, becomes a friend becomes a family, and my fishing family is getting bigger and bigger. And Kevin, you're a big part of that. But I wanted to open this up for questions with anybody online. If anybody had any questions they wanted to ask, right now would be a good time to do it. I think everybody's
Yeah.
muted except David. Except
And,
Dave.
and what I wanted to add to that too, real quick, is if you got a question on a body of water, ask that or let us know, and we'll either hit it this time and if we need to adjust, say, okay, the last 20 minutes is just, Q&R. Perfect. That'll be fantastic. And we'll get everybody's, it's like a seminar. We want you guys to get information too, so you can go out this week and catch more fish. It's not just about, promote us, buy our stuff, you'll be a better fisherman. We all know that's not true. We're talking about night crawlers and chicken livers and sardines, old school stuff that's been around forever. But you know what? It works. All right, click everybody else in. There we go.
Yeah, and we just want to make it, so the first one was a lot of talk of Kevin talking, me spend a little bit, but Kevin's exactly right. We're going to spend a little bit about us talking, but it's about getting information out to you guys so we can learn from you, you can learn from us, and make it interactive. I don't want to just be two talking heads up here. I see a few faces now. People are turning their cameras on, and so yeah, we want people to be part of it, and that's why I decided to do this through Zoom because it's such an easy platform to kind of get people from all over the place into one place without a lot of technical difficulties of all the different platforms. So this seems to work. So with that, anybody have any questions? I want to take a couple questions. I don't want to take Kevin too long. He needs to go to bed. He got an early day tomorrow. Uh, Dave, I see you're been unmuted. He's been unmuted from the beginning. He's dying to ask a question. I know. He's ready.
Now, like Warren and I are coming up to fish with you in August. What do we need to bring to get an Oregon fishing license?
Oh,
Great question. Question is, if you come up to Oregon, another state, what do you need to do to get an Oregon license? You can go right online, pop, print one out. Super simple. But if you don't have a computer or you're like me and you lose your phones or you don't, there's little tackle stores. If you get there in time on the way, when you cross the border, you're Fred Meyers. There'll be a handful of little places you can Google search that'll have it all. Brookings Harbor, they'll have them there.
Okay.
But, if you get late that night, you won't have it. Get it on your phone.
Right.
And then all you have to do is take a screenshot. Get it on your phone. There's your receipt. Boom. Screenshot. Gives you the little number. We can do everything electronically right on the boat. Your money.
Dave, I'll send you the
Yep.
link. If I can figure it out, an old fart like me can figure it out, you guys can figure it out. I'll send you the
That'd
link.
be
It
great.
was real easy through
Yeah.
the Oregon fishing game, and a few
Okay.
clicks, the credit card number, and you'll be surprised on how cheap it was compared to California.
Yeah, I probably don't think that. Freaking California.
Yeah. We're going to stay on the positive side here. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Any other?
License. I bought a hunt license to hunt one day. They don't even sell a hunt license for one day.
Nope. You got to buy a yearly one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
I think Steve was unmuting for a minute, like he wanted to. He's like, he muted back again. I don't know what he's saying.
You're still muted, Steve.
Yes, sir. We can hear
there
you.
you are, Steve.
Okay, I was just hitting buttons to see what was going to work.
Hey, there's a guy I know. Hey, my friend, how you been? Huh?
I've been good. How could I not show up for your for your debut broadcast. I had to be here.
I don't
Took me
even-
a little
I
while
don't-
to get
I don't
on,
even
but I
know what-
did.
Oh, thank you. I know you're busy and I appreciate you. Steve and I have done so much in the hometown of Chico with Hooked on Fishing. Steve was the guy that made that all put together, put hundreds of hours of work on there. And obviously after COVID, that's gone away. But man, over the years, how many kids did we have show up and hook them on Hooked on Fishing, not on drugs? That was a good thing, Steve. Man, those are good times. So
Yeah.
Chico was
Unfortunately,
Chico was a cool place.
COVID did that in, so it's just kind of the way it goes. But I was actually talking to one of our old mutual buddies tonight, Steen Henriksen.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so he's still doing good. He's like I work every day for the last 3 weeks, and he has to work every day for the next 3 weeks. But eventually, I think he's going to get back into fishing, maybe if he can. He has plenty of money anyway. But yeah, no, I'm just down here living the life. Our fishing has been very good when the weather lets it happen. Even down here, I'm in San Diego for those that don't know. And by the way, I'm the former for 20 years. I was the outdoor editor of the Chico Enterprise Record and the Orville Mercury Register,
Oh, wow.
and I was the chairman of the Butte County Fish and Game Commission. So I have deep roots up there. In addition to that that Hooked on Fishing event, but yeah, I'm down in San Diego now. We've had, call it global warming, call it magnetic pole shift, and the fish migrations changed. I don't know what you can call it, but our fishing for the last 10 years down here has been, it's literally been probably the best in the world. It's just been absolutely insane. I miss being up there. I miss the people. But onward and upward. I still love going and working at the ISC show in Sacramento. They're going to have to lock the door to keep me out of there.
Yeah, I saw you, but I never even got close to you because there were so many people. Then you got sick there, and we didn't get to connect, which we normally do. But many years we would connect there at the ISC and all get together for my daughter Samantha's birthday. Would always be during the ISC show, and
Yeah.
we'd all have a cake. I mean, that's how far we go back. And all the work that you've done in Chico, you'd be proud. If you walked into the tackle box now, we've really been able to help them out a lot. It's kind of cool.
Well, I've seen the pictures, and I thought it was ironic that the tackle box became famous for something other than selling tackle, and then they remained famous, and there was no tackle. That just didn't seem right to me. So I'm glad that you're back in, and I have a little bit of background in the retail tackle business as well.
Just a little.
It's in my rearview mirror, but still, I've spent, like Kevin, I've spent my entire life in the fishing business in one way or the other, whatever way I could weasel my way in, or whatever way there was. Kevin, you guys should be understand how blessed you are to have somebody like Kevin. I fish with guides from, Alaska to Costa Rica to the Florida Keys, and there's really nobody like Kevin. You are so blessed to have the ability to go out there with him. So take every chance that you can, no matter what you're fishing for, and be on the boat with Kevin. You'll not only catch fish, but more importantly, you'll take lessons away that will help you catch fish no matter where you end up going.
Awesome. And see, Steve's a smart guy. He now figured me out. I am very blessed. That's why I'm partnering with Kevin. We're doing a lot of great things together, and I'm just along for the ride. Every day I'm with Kevin. It's interesting is I met Kevin so he told some stories of Kevin. I got my own stories of, I've known a Kevin. I didn't start fishing till 2020 when COVID hit. I wasn't really a big fisherman. I dabbled here and there, but when
you and a lot of the world, that's exactly what happened.
I was doing I was doing comedy shows that I was producing, and I wasn't very funny, so I was kind of struggling there. And I said, hey, I went in the garage, found this little fishing pole, and said, hey, I'm gonna pick up fishing. So I was living in Marysville, went out to Ellis Lake and started fishing Ellis Lake, and
Forest
I
Lake.
just,
Wow.
I just got
I know,
hooked.
huh?
Yeah. And so through the process of just anybody that knows me that knows when I decide to do something, I go all in. It's all or nothing. So when I started fishing, I went through like 4 boats in a year. Just bought one, bought another one, bought another one. Now I have a pretty nice boat that we use. Um, but I heard about Kevin, and what I heard about Kevin was, oh, he's a hothead. He's all these things that were so negative, right? And then at the same token,
Evan?
as I'm learning through my stuff, I'm hearing people, as I'm trying to meet people, I'm meeting all the wrong people. I've run to every jailbird, every felon, everybody you could meet, and I'm like, what is up with this fishing community? So I started like to kind of make a pun out of it, but I had to cut bait. I had to just cut bait, figure things out, get rid of a few people. And I think Kevin was watching, stalking me maybe a little bit because he came up to me at an event and said, hey, I've been hearing about you. I know that you've changed some things. You're not associating with certain people anymore. Hey, I want to do some videos because he's been watching some of our old farts fishing videos. And so it's been what, about a year now, Kevin, maybe a little bit longer. We've been doing this video
Yeah,
thing.
probably two now. I mean, time
Yeah.
goes by fast,
And so
and
what I've
which is a good thing. It's
yeah, so when
all positive. Yeah.
when you talk about being blessed, right? It took me a minute to kind of figure things out, and that's why I have that podcast, A Minute with Stony Stone. It took me a minute to figure things out, and now I'm hanging out with the right people. I look at people on this call like David Mayo and Warren, and I met them through catfishing, and Kevin I met through his striper events, and went from knowing nobody to knowing the wrong people to now getting involved with the right people. And it just feels like the world is our oyster right now. Kevin's got a lot of great things going on. We're developing and growing and growing the Old Farts Fishing brand with merchandising and videos and supporting Kevin. And it's just, it's all together been a great adventure. So, I'm pleased and blessed to be part of Kevin. And we're going to do this podcast every week and having a fishing report come out every week. And then a little bit more story time and mostly hearing from you guys. What do you want to hear about? What do you want, Kevin to talk about? And we'll incorporate that and make it, interactive. So, I know Kevin. I'm trying to kind of wrap us up, get us up because Kevin looks like he's fading. He's been up early. We're a little bit past the
No,
hour.
I've been up. Well, it was 3:30, so it wasn't bad.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah.
could sit here and I could sit. I mean, seeing Steve, I mean, he's like, the walking fishing encyclopedia. I mean, he's the most knowledgeable guy when it comes to fishing and other subjects too that there is. I mean, we've spent hundreds of hours, driving to different places, doing seminars. He'd take the time to say, "Hey, Kevin, let's go do a seminar over here," or tweak this a little bit, or talk about this, or do an intro like that. I mean, I was a kid out of high school trying to catch a fish. I didn't know if it wasn't for guys like Steve and different people saying like, "Hey, come on board, let's try this." I give the credit to them, and then it's just humbling. That's all.
Well, very good.
And
So,
we're still going.
We're
That's the
still
great
yeah.
thing.
kicking.
Still,
They can't make us stop.
we're gonna just keep on going, man. We just keep on going. Some
so,
days I drag a little bit, but that's all right.
so
That's all
as
right.
host of this podcast, I need to try to keep us on track. We're past 8 o'clock, which I try not to do. I want to be respectful of people's time. I like to start on time, and on time. Went a little bit longer today, which is okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate all you guys calling in. We're going to do this weekly as long as people want it and get a lot of information out. And definitely follow, Kevin Brock on Facebook if you guys are a Facebook person under Fish Kevin Brock, or definitely go to his website, fishkevinbrock.com. And if you're kind enough to go check out Old Farts Fishing and the 500 other Stony Stone pages I have. So, oh,
Uh,
it's been a great
I
ride.
think,
And go ahead, Kevin.
yeah. I think that being this first one, we can just kind of ad lib and throw some stuff, and it goes another minute, and I appreciate you with that. But if we we're going to do more like a, it just depends on what people want, but yeah, like a seminar and on a specific thing. But I can set up with a little camera. I'm thinking about this is I could have been showing how to wrap a sardine during the podcast. So all these things are going through my mind to get information out to you guys, and we'll work together on this. And so I'm kind of excited about that.
We can only go up from here.
Yeah, for sure. But we had
Oh.
Steve, so that's pretty awesome. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Great. This is great. I'm glad I negotiated the technology to finally get in.
Steve, I'm
Yeah.
glad you figured it out.
You and me both. So
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Until next week, definitely check out A Minute with Stony Stone and Kevin Brock's Facebook page. We'll post this. I think it's on there as an event every week.
yep.
Thanks, guys.
Okay,
Thank
you
you
guys
very
have a
much.
good night.
Thank you.
Yes,
Good night,
thank you,
everybody.
Steve. Great to see you, my friend.
See you guys.
Stony, thank you for everything you've done. Take care.
Thanks, guys.